What's going on? It's Joey Avery. This is The Joey Show.
Thank God I have a podcast.
On today's episode, Irene Tu, hilarious comedian, someone that I came up through the San Francisco scene with, so we go way back. Very fun to chat with her about a lot of things. Very interesting. We end up talking about our perspective a little bit and how we come at it from different directions, and how unique it is, my experience in comedy as this, as this guy, you know what I mean? You guys know what I'm talking about. And then Irene, who we discuss in the interview, happens to be, among many other things, a lesbian Asian comedian, and that has changed her experience in terms of what her fan base expects of her, how difficult that can be at times if you're maybe held to a different standard versus me just being like, hey, he fucking cares. And so very interesting, but just a really fun conversation with a good friend. We talk about everything. We go into politics. We talk about reading. We talk about some high school memories. Very fun stuff. A great interview. Can't wait to bring it to you. Usually we get straight in to the interview here at the Joey Show, but there is an important news story that no one has been able to get to the bottom of. So I do think we're going to have to start off with a Joey Show news exclusive. Okay, folks, this is an important news story, a serious news story, and it's been brought to my attention. I might even be late to this, but this whole Kate Middleton thing has gotten out of hand. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't track the British royal family closely. That's not my thing. I like sports. I think it's kind of similar. I think people who follow the royal family they're people who want to be informed. They're people who want to be getting information, but they don't want information that's too much. When you want to know what's going on, you want the news, but you really don't want to hear about the actual horrible stuff that's happening. Because you open it up and you're like, oh, God, an actual war? No. You just want to be in the know. Just a little bit of gossip. I understand that, okay? That's why I like sports. I listen to sports podcasts. Guys are gossiping about what quarterback's going to go where. Why do I like that? I have no idea. I think my brain's broken. But that's okay. If you're into it, you may know this. It's been brought to my attention that Kate Middleton is missing. Now, again, I thought Kate Middleton was one of these white actresses that I didn't know. I thought it was, Jennifer Hudson and Kate Middleton. I thought maybe they were starring in something. I don't know. I can't keep track of all this stuff. I'm not very good at it. But then I did dive in. Okay, if you don't know, brief primer, people probably know right now, so we're really not going to take too much time on this, but a little timeline of events I think is important. Okay, people weren't expecting this, but all of a sudden the royal family says, hey, you're not going to see Kate for a bit. She got I guess they said that she got an abdominal surgery. Have I heard of that, aside from a C-section or whatever Mike the Situation from Jersey Shore got? No, I have not. But she got one. Sounds serious. We should respect people's privacy if they're going through a medical event. They said, hey, she's going to be back by Easter. Interesting. Resurrection Day. What are we doing? Is there a sign there? Maybe. Look, at this point in time, I would not have gotten into the story. This is not when it crosses my desk. The problem is, all of a sudden, stuff's going on. Hey, we haven't heard from her. Where's she been? They said it's going to be a while. Well, heat started turning up on the palace. They started trying to release stuff. They released a photograph, which I will display here. It was photoshopped poorly. She claimed it was her own Photoshop skills and that the prince, who is it, William? I actually don't even know who she's made, but they said the prince took the photo and then she photoshopped it. Is that what we think is happening? Is that what we think is happening? What is she, me? What is she, a fucking comedian who's trying to make it? Why are you on Photoshop, lady? It's not fun editing pics. It's not like she was doing fun stuff like adding a cool background or like turning one of the kids into a wolf. No, okay? It was a fake photo. Normally, that would be fine. But look, we're on the case, guys. You can't just get away with this sort of stuff anymore. So they try to quell it once again. They release another photo. According to the evidence that I've seen, the next photo where it was her in a car could have been a photo from her at a previous event. The bricks appeared to be mismatched. All of a sudden, third thing happens this week, a photo of them shopping at a store. I don't know, getting something for a charcuterie. They look like charcuterie people. I don't know that. I'm going to be honest, this is not full-on journalism, but tell me I'm fucking wrong. You think those soft whites ain't eating a soft white cheese? You got another fucking thing coming. They're charcuterie people. They eat cornichons. They eat olives. It's what they do. Well, that fueled speculation further because this person doesn't look like her. And after all the avoiding and I'm not going to be around, this is it. People think this is a body double. I've never been a body double guy. This kind of looks like a body double situation. What the fuck is going on? Now, this has led to a lot of people went crazy and they said interesting things. They said that maybe she got a BBL. That's funny. That is very funny. The idea of an actual royal family member being like, it's time to dump up, would be the official reversing of the colonial system. You know? After all this time, these stuffy bitches in frocks finally are like, God, you know who had it right? The indigenous peoples of Brazil with their big, juicy poop shoots. That would signal the end of an era, and I do think that that era has ended. Although we, again, do not have sufficient information that she has gotten a Brazilian butt lift. I don't think it's fair to say that she did. We can't say that at this time. Would I be interested to see her dumped up? Yeah, I would be very interested in that. I think that would be a royal success. I think people would like to see a royal with a little bit of junk in the trunk. But speaking of royals with junk in the trunk, one of the other conspiracies, and this, I will be honest, is when it crossed my desk. The other argument is that the husband and wife have been having some problems because the husband has had some weird sexual proclivities. People say he was into pegging. Talk about, again, a lot of people are having a lot of thoughts about the royal butt. And, Your Highness, maybe that's why. Maybe, look, people are thinking something's going in, okay? Is it a fresh, crispy dildy? Or is it just a little bit of, I don't know what they put in a Brazilian butt lift. Is it rice and beans? I really don't know. Something they think, obviously this is just what we do when we don't have all the information. And whose fault is that in this case? I would have to say it's the royal family. See, usually I would not ever traffic in this sort of base and disgraceful smearing of someone who went through a potentially serious surgery and is recovering from it. But you lied to us, and you're letting us cook. And this is what we got in the kitchen. That's really what it is. That's what the royal family has learned, okay? They're trying to control a situation that's out of their control. And everything they do to try to control it makes it worse and worse and worse and worse. And that's the modern environment. We don't want the truth. We want the truth or a fun story we can put together. That's what we want. We don't read the news anymore. We watch murder documentaries. We want to be a part of the story. Oh, I get to be a detective today? Well, I'll be. You like getting pegged in the butt, Prince, whatever the fuck your name is. William, Big Willie style. It adds up, doesn't it? It is funny. This has fueled more speculation than like the actual proof that Prince Andrew was at Epstein's Island. And I know that was well covered, but people weren't as interested in it because it's not as much of a story. People want to know what happened. I didn't even know who she was. I want to know what happened, and we need to get to the bottom of it. I have some thoughts. I have some ideas about what could have happened. Like people think maybe the relationship's gone. Maybe she went to Ibiza. I feel like that's what English people do when they're sad and their relationship isn't working. They go to Ibiza. I've had friends go to Ibiza. I've never been to Ibiza, but I know some people go there, they get lost. They don't come back. Not everyone makes it back from Ibiza. Mike Posner went to Ibiza. He took a pill with Avicii. He was never the same. Literally. Listen to the song. He talks about taking one pill in Ibiza with Avicii Never felt the same after that. This guy has gone on a spiritual quest, if you don't know. Since he took that pill in Ibiza with Avicii. I like it Italian. Since he did that, he has walked across the country, grown a beard, become like a spiritual healer. He only eats sprouts. He doesn't eat meat or like carbs and shit. Like, Ibiza can change you. It's possible. She might have just gone to blow off some steam. She might be blowing off some dudes. Look, I'm not going to say it. I hope she's well. And I think I'd take that back. I don't want to add to speculation. Could she be the person who killed the Boeing whistleblower? I do think that is possible. Again, not to add to speculation, but I do think it's highly possible. Timeline-wise, it adds up. I did some research. I looked into it. Hard-hitting journalism here at the Joey Show. The Royals have flown on Boeing planes. I'm not saying there's not a relationship. I think that's a relationship. Seems like a relationship to me. What if she killed the Boeing whistleblower and it's all together? It's possible. A lot of things are possible, and they are going to let us fill in the blanks, which is crazy. Like, couldn't they just, like, is the thought, I just wonder, is the thought on their end, we're just going to, hey, control this, everyone chill, we told you she'll be back at some point, that's what's going to happen, y'all just need to chill? Because it would be relatively easy to be like, hey, the surgery was tough, but she doesn't want people tripping right now. Instead, they're doing weird stuff. And I know that it's very hard to tell a family that is rife historically with inbreeding and lots of potential crimes against humanity to be chill. But they need to. I think it's indicative, really, of what has happened with fame and how fame has changed. They are old fame. They are the epitome of old fame. Old fame was, we want people at a distance. I show up once a year. I do a movie. You see me on a red carpet. All those photos need to be manicured. If you see me in a compromising position, that's paparazzi only. And I want to control my image. And that's all the royal family has been for a long time, is an image, nothing else but an image that they are trying to control. And when you try to control an image, you do weird things, and it makes everyone crazy who's trying to figure it out. That's what I think. That's the old fame. They want to do nice dresses. They want to be the perfect family. They want to wear a crown. That's old fame. There's a new fame now. New fame, reality. People up close. We want to see that real. Okay, you know what my TikTok is right now? It's fat people eating, respectfully. I'm not being a dick about it, okay? I'm watching goats do what they're best at, and I enjoy that. And I'm not doing it out of spite or anything. I see them on there, and I go, first of all, I look like they're having a good time, and second of all, I bet that person knows if that food was good, and I watch that, and that's real, and that is the new fame. That is the new royalty. That's what I want to see. I don't need to see a princess with a fake butt. I want to see a good goddamn American who just got sweaty dumper out of a little rascal at Walmart with a real butt, a real big butt. Okay? I think that's the new fame. I hope that she's okay. But I need to know what the fuck has been going on and whose idea it was. And we better know soon. It's almost Easter, okay? When he was risen, will she be risen? I do not know. It's the first I've ever cared about the Royals and probably the last time. But we will be checking in, and we will make sure that we get to the bottom of this. And as we know from the speculation, there's a lot to do with bottoms. Let's figure it out. Okay, there it is. We got to find this bitch. Let's figure that out. In the meantime, great interview with Irene Tu. Here it is. Good to see you, though, Irene.
You. Hi, Joey.
Thanks for doing this. Very
last minute. I showered for this.
Very last minute. Well, I appreciate that.
I knew there were going to be cameras.
I appreciate that. Yeah, and they can smell now.
Yeah.
No, so you're going to an awards ceremony tonight.
I am, that I'm not nominated for, but I was invited, so I decided I would show up.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that for you. Would
Thank
you,
you.
what is the dream? Would you want to do like acting? Like, cause I could see you red carpeting it up.
Oh, I would love.
We've known
I'd
each
love
other.
to.
Yeah, we've known each other forever. I'll give an intro so people will know who you are and our whole thing. But like, I mean, it was probably a few months into knowing you, and your ass is on a fucking bus, driving around San Francisco.
That was crazy.
Irene on the KQED bus.
Yeah. The photographer who took those photos is also pretty good. I like the pictures that he took.
Yeah.
He made me look cool.
You know Jim McCambridge, but
Yeah. Hey,
those are good.
But I was wearing sunglasses and I had a tie and whatever, and I looked sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those were sweet. Now, how long were you into comedy when you were on a bus?
Oh, I think that was like 2016 was the bus maybe, and I think I started like give or take 2012.
Okay, so you're 4 years in and you're on a bus.
I think so.
Do you feel like that set you up for any level of like, damn, I thought it was gonna go faster than this?
I will be honest, yes. Like if you bring up the bus, I'm like, oh man, I should have. Well, because when I got the bus thing, that was also around the time there was an article or like something in the Chronicle that was like on the brink of fame. That's what they quoted me as. And look, we're still on that brink.
Yeah. No, I looked it up. Did you know? Have you read your Wikipedia?
This gets brought up every time someone sees my Wikipedia.
Really?
It's
Your
crazy.
Wikipedia is
I just did a
insane.
podcast last week. Same thing. She was like, "You know this?" I was like, "I promise you, I know about the Wikipedia."
So I've known you forever, and I didn't know. So the way it's written is unbelievable. Do you know when this Wikipedia got published?
I don't know, but I think it was around the time where I think there was like a group of people that were trying to put like more like women
Yes.
in like the Wikipedia pages because they were kind of like underrepresented, which is
Yeah.
true. There are like a lot of famous like women that like don't have Wikipedia pages or whatever.
Yes.
I'm not famous. I'm just saying I think they tried to add more people.
They have some shit in here, like stuff I didn't know that you sang elementary school chorus and played piano for 10 years.
It's stuff that people interviewed me on like a podcast or something.
Yes.
And then
you participated
a
in the
fan,
Scholastic Bowl as well as Science
I
Club.
was correct.
And that's when you started teasing classmates to which you attribute your comedic bent.
I don't think that's true.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't equate the Scholastic Bowl to the teasing. That's like two separate things.
Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff in here. I'm sure this got brought up, but it really is. The beautiful one is the personal life segment.
I can't. The page makes me cringe so much.
I'm just gonna read the full
Oh, man.
personal life
All right.
one because this is beautiful. Tu always knew she was different from a young age, but did not recognize in what way. She finally realized she was gay while attending summer camp at the University of Chicago. Is that true?
That's true.
Okay. A girl she had a crush on told her she was funny, and the realization was near instantaneous. She had also previously had sex with a female best friend, but neither she nor the friend ever put labels on dating, girlfriends,
That's
or
why-
gay
I
on
don't
their
re-
experiences
That
with
must
one
be
another.
new because I don't remember reading that before.
Is that true?
Because the last time I saw this Wikipedia page was probably like 2 years ago, and
Yeah.
it was like it's still crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't read it because it makes me cringe so hard. I want it to be scrubbed.
Yeah.
I want a
I
bare
mean, I would
bones.
take a Wikipedia.
I'll take a Wikipedia, but I want it to be like normal bare bones. You know nothing about their personal life. It just skips to like career accomplishments.
She's gay, but when she used to fuck chicks, she was like, "This ain't gay."
Yeah.
Is that's what it said? Yeah. Is it true?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you guys just like, oh, we're just gonna play with these? Well, now we're like diving into it. But was it just like, no, we're just gonna play?
I had like a
dance
best
in the
friend.
cave, or okay. don't
I had
know
a
what y'all
best
call it.
friend, and we like did stuff, but
Uh-huh.
like neither of us were like we're gay.
Right.
Also, there was like we didn't know anyone who was gay because we were like in 8th grade.
Right. You were just like, this is nice.
Yeah, I was like,
having
this
a
is
nice time.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
This is a thing.
Yeah. I support that. Dude.
Yeah.
I think girls can fuck each other under whatever label.
Look, I mean, she was also a preacher's kid. It was a lot.
She was a preacher's kid.
Always.
Did
They're
she ever end
always-
up being gay?
No, I think she's married to a man, and I don't know if she has kids or not. But
Okay.
yeah.
Well, you got to explore that a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bit. If she's a preacher's kid, I'm pretty sure she has kids.
Yeah.
I feel like you kind of have to.
Yeah,
Do you
so
think
then
she
you can
has
have
like
more
live, laugh,
preachers.
love? She has like throw pillows. Like she went full trad wife.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I at one point she blocked me. Well, we hadn't spoken in years.
That kind of means you're still living rent free.
Yeah, I mean, we
Still
hadn't
occupying
spoken in
some
years.
space. Yeah.
I didn't even know. I posted like a funny joke because a friend of mine told me that she got married or something like that.
Right.
And then so I tweeted, I hope they name their kids after me or something like that. Just like a funny whatever.
Right.
I don't remember what the exact tweet was, something like that. And then like the next day, she like had blocked me. Because I was like, oh, I wonder what she's up to.
Right.
Because I like
And
tweeted
then-
the funny thing, and
Yeah.
then I looked on Facebook, and then it was gone. I was like, oh, someone saw this, or
Yeah.
she saw this, and she had blocked me. And I think we weren't even like friends anymore or something. And she like was like, I gotta block her.
Well, like to be fair, if you were a preacher's kid who had had like one gay experience, and then that person ended up being a on the brink of fame
Yeah.
comedian and starts using it as content, you're like, this is my fucking nemesis.
Look, I've never named her.
Yeah, that is
And
crazy.
people have asked, like, who I
Right.
went to high school with, were like, who was it? And I'm like, I'm not gonna like
Is
drag
it
her.
just
into
people
it.
who you went to high school with, or I get the feeling that with your fans, people get like invested into your life and like want to know specifics.
No one's asked me that was just like a random fan of mine because
Right.
they wouldn't know who it was.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's not like
Yeah,
an
doesn't.
entertainer or something.
Right.
It's not like someone you would know. So
Right.
the only people that asked were like people that like I went to high school with that would know.
That
who
wanna
she
know.
was.
Yeah,
That,
yeah.
that I haven't spoken to. They're like, who was it? And I'm like, why would I tell? I haven't talked to you in like 15 years.
Right. Do you keep in touch with anyone from your high school?
No.
Yeah.
Well, I have like two people that I occasionally will talk to that
Mm-hmm.
were like close friends of mine. We just don't live in the same city,
Right.
so it's like we
What
text
was
every
your
6
What
months.
was your vibe in high school? I don't think we've ever talked
Oh,
about this.
great question. What do you think, Joey? Your best guess. What was I in high school?
That's a good question. I mean, I could see you have gone a few different directions. I mean,
Okay.
I'm gonna like not to. I'm gonna imagine studious.
Correct.
I would imagine you were fucking up some tests
Yeah.
here and there. You know.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was studious.
Yeah, but I know I saw it in Wikipedia. I could see you. There maybe was a basketball era, an attempt. I don't know if it landed or not, but I could see you
Actually,
dribbling between the legs.
Pretty accurate.
Yeah.
So I played through 8th grade,
Uh-huh.
and then I tried out freshman year,
Yeah.
and then I was like, oh, this is way more
It's a little
intense.
different. Yeah.
And also, they practice at like 5 a.m. or something. And I was like, I
Not
don't know
doing
if I
that.
want to do that. So
Yeah.
then I like bowed out of like the second day of tryouts. And they like took everyone that tried out. So like I could have played, but I just was like, I don't know if I want to do this.
Yeah, which you kind of have to. When you're a freshman, you have to be willing to like climb the
Yeah,
hill.
you have to like do it. And I was like, I don't. And everyone was so good at my high school that I was like, I don't.
Was
think,
it a sports high school?
I don't know if it was like a sports like we weren't like the best team, but I think we were pretty good because one of my best friends in high school, she ended up going to Stanford on a basketball
Oh,
scholarship,
sick!
full
And
ride.
Stanford is like the women's team, or at least it
Yeah,
was. at the
one
time.
of they're still one of the best
Yeah.
like women's basketball teams. So our team was like good.
Yeah.
But like, JV, no one cares. Like I
Right.
could have played, but I was like, oh, I don't think I'm good enough to
Right.
really play. And I'm one of those people that I'm like, if I can't be one of the best, I don't want to do it. So I kind of just quit.
Straight back to math. What was your best subject?
So then I did try like the math team or whatever, and then
You almost were a mathlete?
I was kind of on it, like
Yeah.
on and off, but I wasn't good enough to be a math nerd. So then I also stopped doing that.
So you quit basketball and math
And math.
competition
Yeah.
for the exact same reason?
Oh, totally.
You were just like, I just don't know if I have what it takes
I don't
to
have
be
what
the
it
GOAT.
takes.
I don't know if I can be the
Kinda.
Jordan of arithmetic.
I mean, honestly, every day I'm like, should I keep doing stand-up comedy? Because I'm like, am I gonna make it? Like one of the best.
Yeah.
I don't have to necessarily be like the top
Yeah.
one comic,
Yeah.
but I'm like at least top like 30 at
Yeah.
some point.
I think it was easier when you're starting off and everyone's just like, we're going to fucking make it, dude.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
we're going to, and then like once you start working through the pack,
Oh,
you
yeah,
get to
once
a
you
certain
see
point
and then you're like, oh
okay,
man.
well, I made it here, but everyone else is here. How do we get
Yeah.
above that?
Yeah.
So what would you do? You go back to mathletes? Yeah. You quit stand-up
Oh my
and go
gosh.
back to competing in
No.
mathematics?
No, definitely not math. Well, like
Yeah.
the thing is like too, I feel like you can find out pretty quickly if you can do something. And with the math thing, I'm like, oh, I don't see math in the way that these other students see math.
Yeah.
Like I know how to do math. Like I'm good at following directions, but at that level of math, you're like, things move around, and I'm like, I don't know where the numbers are supposed to go.
Once they started including letters with the numbers,
oh, yeah,
I was
totally.
like, I think that's going to be me.
Yeah, with weird symbols.
Yeah,
I'm
I
out.
just didn't. I still don't understand. Like, because I thought I was like, oh, maybe I'll be interested in astronomy. Because I'm like, the stars are a vibe. Yeah. It was kind of, I was
Did
like,
you
I
have
like
astronomy
looking up.
In your school?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. We didn't have that.
I thought it was just kind of like looking at stuff, and like, but it turns out at a high level, it's math. And I was like, oh, that's not going to work.
But it's like also math that is not regular math.
Yeah.
It's
sky math.
Yeah.
I think it's heresy. I think that God doesn't allow it, to be honest with you.
If you're an astronomer, you're a fucking witch.
Yeah, 100%. It's basically astronomy and astrology, not as far off as you'd think. It's actually, as we're talking about this, I'm kind of having this crazy flashback to how much harder school was than I even remembered it. Like the fact that we don't have to interact with complex like equations and shit that we don't understand anymore. It's actually kind of sweet.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Like if you told me what my life would be like post like high school, I'd be like, that's so easy.
Yeah, and yet I'm complaining about it.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
I have to like work out and post clips and go to.
I know, but like
I
feel like school was so hard, especially if you like.
Not only
I'm
trying to learn complex equations like with my like freshest batch of boners of all time. You're like full of hormones and everyone's like hot, but you don't know how to talk to them, and then they're also like. Yeah, you want to learn how space works? Here's a calculator. And you're like, no, this fucking makes sense.
And you're also just typing boners in on your calculator.
100% boobies. Yeah. 800.
Oh, that's what it was. It was boobies.
Yes, boobies. Hell was another one. There was whatever you could get in there that was somewhat nasty was the best. I loved it. I hated it, but I loved it. Like,
I still have my like TI-89 calculator.
Oh yeah,
it's like in my closet somewhere. Yeah.
And then when you got to the point where you could do like the equations would make stuff, you could kind of like try to draw a dick. Yeah, yeah. That's what we were motivated.
Yeah, you remember
by.
what an asymptote is?
No, it sounds familiar, but I don't remember.
It's like that thing where it curves, but it like never touches the line.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know what it was for.
What does it all mean?
I don't know. But it was a word.
I remember that era fondly, though, because it's so confusing and it's so crazy, but you feel things in such a powerful way. Like, even like graduation, I feel like I can still like smell it. Like everyone's all like excited and it's like, I'm going to University of fucking Stanislaus or wherever people were going. And it just, I don't know. It is special.
Yeah.
There's
I feel like
we don't get a graduation.
That twice. Like high school graduation, college graduation, you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to do the next thing. And then that's it.
Funerals.
That's
he's
it.
on to the next. He's in the sky now. I wish I had a calculator. Yeah, I guess. Well, wedding. You were at my wedding.
Oh,
that feels fucking cool.
That was really fun wedding, by the way. Great wedding.
I'm proud of that to this day.
I mean, your speech, both your speeches, epic.
Thank you.
You and Holly.
Thank you.
Great wedding.
We feel great about it. That was cool. I think you still get the cool thing. I actually will say with comedy is there are still moments that feel special. Like when I do like my hometown show in San Jose and like a bunch of people come out, you kind of get that. And that doesn't happen as much if you're like selling insurance, like maybe, you have kids at the baby shower.
An employee of the month award or something.
Which would slap. And I guess the things you get to celebrate are more private, but potentially more substantial. You're like, I just bought a $3 million house.
Yeah, I have
I
another
just sold
kid.
200 tickets. So
at least we can post about ours.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. They gram well.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think you would have done if you never found comedy? That's a hard question, but
the thing that I love probably more than comedy is food.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to quit comedy, which people have asked me before, like, what would you do if you were doing comedy? I would probably go to culinary school and like try to become a chef.
Have you ever thought about blending the two and doing like a YouTube
yes,
chef?
and I don't know how to do it yet. And also because I'm not a chef. Like I can cook a little.
You would still have to learn.
That's the thing is like I don't know how to cook
yeah.
really. I mean I can a little, but
Right.
I'm not like, oh, I'm also a chef and a comedian. Like I can't claim both of those things.
And your style, you'd have to find a style that works. You're not like Sebastian Maniscalco.
No.
You couldn't be like, boom, throw it into the fucking, like he'd be perfect.
I think he did do a
paprika? Who's putting paprika in their eggs? I don't understand. I kind of got it there at the end. You find it on the way.
I know. I think he has this bit about like ironing or some shit.
Yeah.
I always think about him ironing.
It's funny the things that he just gets mad at. It's
Yeah,
his
yeah.
whole. You want me to sit on a couch and do a podcast? Yeah, holding the microphone.
When you do his S's, those are pretty good. The podcast, that was pretty good.
I don't know how to. Some people, I think there's the science to like how to do impressions. I don't.
Yeah.
My body has already figured out if I can do an impression before I've ever tried it.
At impressions.
I try it and I go, yep, or I go, nope. That was it.
Pretty good. And also I feel like Italian is like everyone can kind of do Italian.
Yeah, and it's like everyone can kind of do Trump now.
Yeah.
Because it's just, he's been around long enough. People kind of figured it out, and you can just talk about whatever is going on.
Yeah,
It's just, I'm like thinking about what he would say right now. He'd just be like, unbelievable, disgusting place. I mean, there's sheets, white sheets. I don't like the sheets. White sheets, don't love them. Some people take them. They cut little holes in the eyes. I've never supported it unless you support me, in which case I love it. It's like,
I was like, I feel like he would love that.
yeah, I know. You just come back around to everything.
Yeah.
It's fun to talk like him. I might be no.
Hey, as long as it's good for your comedy, right?
Yeah, I do think that the election year has been good for comedy in that it is bad.
You mean this one?
Yeah, in that it's bad.
It's a repeat from the last one.
And it's such a joke that everyone, like, my current openers, I'm just like, yeah, I feel good. I feel like the country's doing well. That's a pop out of the gate. Like, there's nothing clever about that.
Yeah.
I say that, it gets a laugh, and then you can obviously add to it. But that's depressing.
That's bad when every single person was like, yeah, things aren't going
that's
well.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And, like, at the same time, it's like, our lives aren't particularly horrible right now, but it's just, it's vibes-wise not great.
Bad
vibes.
Also, like, multiple wars
And two, like, really old men, like, saying that they can do more push-ups than the other person. And it's like, that's not right.
I don't know how they're both alive.
No, I don't either.
Because doesn't the presidency, like, age you? Right? Because, like, remember when Obama was president? They're like, oh, my God, look at all his gray hairs. And we have, like, two, like, 80-plus-year-old presidents. And they're like, oh, we can do this for 4 more years. And you're like, I don't think you can.
The crazy thing is Biden, they've got some miracle drug. Because when he's at the State of the Union, he was on it. Did you see any of that?
I didn't watch it, but I heard he did pretty good.
He was on it. I didn't really watch any of it either. But I saw, like, a few clips. And I was like, who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah.
You either get State of the Union where he's like, no, that's not who we are as a country. Or then you get him and he's just like, I had a chocolate chip. He's just like,
he chugged a Red Bull beforehand.
Ice cream. You're like, I think it's beyond a Red Bull. I think that they inject him with like some form of like intravenous Adderall that's like, that like fires you up, but that you can only do every so often. I mean, if that exists, which I would have no reason to assume that it doesn't.
I'm sure it exists.
Then it would certainly exist for the most powerful man in the world who is also aging as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, if not him, if that's not getting shot into Joe Biden's ass when control of the United States is on the line, who's taking it?
He just takes a nap, like, most of the day, but then when he has to do something, they're like, all right, here goes the shot.
Just rise up. I mean, that's what I'm worried about, is if he does 4 more years, he's going to just keep getting older and weirder, and then every once in a while, he's just going to just come back and just be lighting it up.
I just don't understand why there wasn't a third strong candidate that was, like, 45.
I think that I've
Like,
thought
what
a
happened?
lot about this because it's really easy to complain about how the candidates are old.
Yeah.
And then someone goes, "Well, who would you have picked?" And you go,
Yeah, I'm just surprised there wasn't another person that was like, hey, I'm right for the job and also...
Yeah, this is maybe an unpopular opinion because there are people who have very fair and legitimate qualms with how the state of California has been run. Gavin, I think, is a better option than Biden, potentially. Maybe there's polling numbers that the rest of the country likes him less or something. But I saw him he went on Sean Hannity, and Hannity was asking him, like, all the right-wing questions you'd expect of someone who wants to shit on California. Like, why is the homeless so bad? Why haven't you done anything? And he's like, actually, these are the things that I've done. Here are the issues that I'm running into. I'm actually suing a bunch of local municipalities. I'm actually really trying to make a difference and using some of the preferred policy prescriptions that you would throw out there. And I was like, oh, shit, he actually handled that well, which would be refreshing in a debate because this debate is going to be insane.
I mean, snooze fest.
I don't think it'll happen. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, do you think it's because they don't want to, like, Trump's going to run, obviously, because he's got fans, right? But do you think, like, they were like, well, you got to run the incumbent president? Like, that's why they funneled all the money to, like, even though numbers don't look great, we're still going to run Biden. Like, I feel like that's the only reason why is because they didn't want to throw a new person because then they would be admitting that he's doing a bad job.
Yeah. And I think, I think it's kind of exactly that. Like, not running the incumbent is usually just if it was their decision. Like, the only person who could make the decision if he wants to run or not is like Biden and his family. And they clearly were like, fuck it.
Do it again.
Paw still got it. Let's run this fucking guy out there.
I think he should have just been like, I'm good.
I know. I think
then they would have run someone else.
If he bounces a one-term, people would be like, look, he got a lot of stuff done. There's a lot of things happening that are obviously not great, but like, who's to say that he would have been able to prevent, some of these things are out of his control.
Right.
He got more done than you'd think, blah, blah, blah. But it's the entire game is just right-wing establishment, left-wing establishment, and who they think will win. Like, it's not really about the people. It's about the teams.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's like, we're going to trot our old quarterback out there for one last run because we don't think the new guys are ready. I don't know. It's not inspiring.
I don't think it's looking good for Biden right now because I don't think he's energizing anyone.
No, I think that the real question is how negatively energizing Trump can be. And like right now, there's a lot of amnesia with people being like, look, he's more lively, he's more entertaining, and there's a lot of coalitions that used to always vote Democrat that are kind of like, fucking Trump's cool, you know? And so it's shifted a lot of things, but it's kind of crazy when you're like, that guy legitimately is down to like shred the whole Constitution.
I think if he gets elected this time, he will.
Yeah. I don't know if he'll actually stay or not because I think his main thing is he just wants to like prove that he can win and go out a winner. I don't think he necessarily would want to like do it forever. Again? No, I know he'll be president again, but I don't think he'd be like, I'm gonna go 3 terms.
I don't think you can. Isn't it a 2-term limit?
Well, you can't, but that's the thing. Is like. Once
you
he's
mean
in
like
there,
once he's in, he's gonna change the rules, like they did in Russia or whatever.
Yeah.
But
him being like his whole thing, politics episode.
I was like, I didn't know we were gonna do this for the episode. I thought we were talking about me having sex with a girl in 8th grade.
Well, they're all connected, Irene. They're all very connected, intimately. It's similar.
Yeah.
It's similar. You had small hands. Apparently Trump does. I don't know.
He grabbed a pussy. I grabbed a pussy.
Yeah, no. And, both of you were probably like, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to get your mitts on it, dude. I don't. How's dating going, Irene? Are you out there?
I'm not.
I know. I feel like you're often not.
I'm mostly, unless I'm dating someone, I'm not dating.
Right. So
I'm very hot and cold. So right now I'm in my none era. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm dating no one, and I want to talk to nobody.
Yeah.
And just putting a lot of time and effort into my career, and I'm trying to get ripped.
Oh, jacked Irene?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
What are you doing for that?
I got a personal trainer. So I work out with her once a week, and then I've been trying to just go to the gym when I can. And I'm also looking for recommendations on protein shakes.
Oh, nice.
If anyone has them, because I feel like any kind of protein shake or powder tastes disgusting in my opinion.
And you feel like you're not getting enough protein.
I don't think I
through
am.
Natural sources. Yeah. I have not been. I'm out of the protein shake game because I'm like I try to. Lift.
Well, you look great.
Thank
and
you.
And you're very strong.
I'm also not lacking in calories because like the upside is I have muscle and I work out, but the downside is I also like to sometimes drink and eat like shit. So I'm like I can't add, even if it's a protein shake. I don't think I can add calories.
Yeah.
But that's good, dude. Jack Comedy is in right now. I don't know what it is.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
the new thing. And I'm not doing it for comedy.
Correct.
I just want to.
It does help. It helps you in all aspects of your life when you like feel like you're on it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So you have you're like, I just want to. So like, what's the average day then? You're at the gym. You're what? Working on clips, writing.
I'm sleeping 8 hours. I get my 8 hours in, which is
big.
a third of the day. It is tough.
Yeah.
Because I kind of have to sleep 8 hours. If I sleep like 6, I'm very cranky the next day. But it's a lot of hours. Or like, I don't know if you're one of these, like, I can sleep 4 or 5 hours.
No, I don't understand that.
I can't. But that's a lot of hours that I'm not using. So then I feel bad.
You feel bad that you're getting sleep?
I mean, I don't feel bad that I'm getting sleep, but I feel like I can never catch up on all the stuff I want to do. You know?
No, I do know what you mean, but I don't think that cutting sleep is the way to increase efficiency. It's
Agreed.
like, are you really that dialed in the rest of the day?
No, I'm
not.
not.
I'm just a fucking raw productivity machine that the real thing that's holding me back is sleep. Sleep's probably one of the most productive things you can do.
I know, and that's how I try to think about it, but it is tough when I'm like, I didn't get this, that, or whatever done. So I'm trying to do the Pomodoro thing. You know the Pomodoro?
No, I don't know what the Pomodoro is.
I think it's like a Japanese technique, but basically
Sounds like an Italian dish.
It could be Italian. I don't fucking know. Apparently it's you do like a task for like 25 minutes straight, and then you get like a 5-minute break, and then you do 25 minutes straight, and then 5-minute break.
I feel like everyone's doing that in the age of social media.
You think everyone's doing that? No,
they're doing it way less.
Oh yeah, no. What I'm normally doing is an hour, but I'm also half on my phone the whole time.
Yes,
which is not ideal.
So 25 focus, 5 break.
I'm trying to do that. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Or like at
do
least
you set
like,
alarms for that?
Yeah. I'll do a timer on my phone.
Yeah.
So I'll be like 25 minutes, do emails or whatever it is I have to write and then take a break.
It is
sometimes the break is longer than 5 minutes.
That's the thing. It is funny when you're like, finally, I deserve a break, and then you just scroll for a while, and then you're like, I don't know if I feel satiated by that or if I feel worse. Or like I'll just go like check my metrics, like that's doing anything.
Oh yeah, to
like
see how long
post
you've been
something.
doing something.
No, like I'll post something and then I'll be like, oh, just me being productive. I'm just gonna look at how it's doing, and it's like
how,
I'm doing nothing.
How engagement is working.
How engagement in the first 2 hours. Try and be predictive on. Oh, that's a banger. Oh, that sucks. I hate myself. Who cares?
And then you're like, but actually, me checking and me not checking is the
does
same.
nothing.
Yeah.
No, you should move on and do your next like creative thing, or
So I'm trying to get better at that.
Yeah.
But it's so hard when
everyone
you
is.
have a fucking crack on your phone.
Most of my friends who do not use social media for their business, so many of them have deleted it.
I
wish
like, I could.
First of all, like don't totally unplug. We need you. But I'm like, I get it. I would too. Like, there aren't a ton of people who are like, oh, I transformed my life by watching 100 hours of Instagram a week instead of, like, reading several books.
Of course.
You read books? You used to work at a bookstore.
I did used to work at a bookstore, and I do read books. I've been trying to read more, and then sometimes I'll read them on my phone. I've been trying to read more on my phone.
Why?
Like, reading on my phone instead of scrolling. Or
okay.
I'll, if I have
it's a better thing to do on the phone.
Like, if I'm out and about, I'm not like carrying a book a lot of the time.
Right.
So I'll try and like read on my phone
Right.
instead of
that makes
scrolling.
Sense. Sorry, I'm just double checking my framing. I'm like, I did read. I remember this when I was in college. There was one thing it was talking about like attention, and it was like actually the way that if you're reading a book on a page, your eyes go across like this. But if you're reading on a screen, whether it's a book or anything else, instead of like an E motion, they make an F. So they kind of like scan through, like your eyes just naturally scan more. I don't know if this has been peer reviewed and backed up, but it does make sense because even if I'm reading on a phone, like I can obviously capture it the same way, but it's just something is not quite the same as reading it on a scroll.
So you're saying reading on a book this way better or worse?
Yeah, your eyes move naturally over a page, like methodically. On a phone, they pick up this kind of like scanning motion.
Interesting.
Where they're like going back and forth, but kind of like looking down, seeing what's going on.
Interesting. Okay.
This is one thing, and I read it.
Yeah.
So it's
what,
true.
do you read it on a phone?
No, I know. I read it
on
a tablet. It's in between.
Yeah.
Clean in between.
Like a Kindle?
I am trying to. I think everyone is trying to read
We're
more.
all trying so hard.
I love buying books. Acquiring books,
I'm
like
obsessed.
the potential for knowledge is
I have so many
incredible.
unread books on my bookshelf.
Yeah.
That I'm like, I wanted to read this. I planned to read this, and then I didn't read it.
It's kind of, there's a bit of like, it's getting in there a bit, I think. Just by being in the room, like it seeps in.
Just me looking at the spine.
They're pieces of the potential you that understands all of this. You know, it's kind of like we were talking about class, like when I was signing up for classes in college, and it's like, sure, I'll take coding. What if I'm a fucking genius engineer?
Yeah.
And then you do it, and you're like, what the fuck? I'll pick really ambitious books and then be like, I failed, and then pivot back to something easier and try to.
So what's easier or hard for you book wise? Like,
So,
are you a fiction guy or a nonfiction guy?
I tend to be a nonfiction guy, but I'll get over my skis on nonfiction. So like, I picked this book. A friend of mine and we're talking about. It's this book called The Denial of Death.
Okay.
And it's an interesting book, and it's basically like a philosophical refutation of a bunch of Freud's principles. So he's like going through and talking about all these philosophers and their perspectives on like the human psyche and death and all this. And this guy's general point is that like Freud's whole thing was everything's about like sex and your parents and all this, and he thinks that is a little short-sighted. By the way, I've read 1/8 of it. Okay. And I think from what I understand, his general principle is that like we are all deeply afraid of death, and our attempts to avoid that or separate ourselves from it inform most of the pathologies of human existence.
Okay.
And so like, you know, like because humans are both like on the one hand, we're gods. We can think about everything. We can picture ourselves in the future in the universe. But then on the other hand, we like shit. And we're like, ew. Yeah. You know, yeah, we're like disgusted at our own decay, you know, and he's like, that is what he thinks leads to even like wars and all these horrible things.
Is the fear of death.
And the avoiding of the reality of it. Anyway, the point is, it's like, I like that concept, but then he's like deep in the weeds of like quoting this philosopher I've never heard of and then being like, and here's where I think he gets it kind of wrong. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of hard. So then I go read like a novel.
Oh, okay.
Like gotcha. I read Sam Tallent's book, was incredible.
I heard it's great. I haven't read it yet.
It's amazing. It's Sam Tallent, if you don't know, hilarious comedian. He wrote a book called Running the Light, and there are some like pockets of prose in there that are so beautifully written that I was like, it's a new experience knowing someone who wrote a book. I feel like I'm usually reading a book from like a dead person or something. Yeah. And now I'm like, I know this guy. This guy's fucking genius.
I've hung out with this guy.
I was like, I don't know how I'm going to, next time I'm having a beer with him, I'm just going to be staring at him like, whoa, dude. Yeah. How'd you do that?
I wonder if that's like what people think of us. Like if they're like fans of ours.
Yeah. They're like, how did he say? I'm like, what did you do for work?
Yeah.
No, I think especially the first times people see a show, it's like, how did this all come together? And I think we maybe underestimate it because we're steeped in our own process, our friendships with people, complaining about the, you know, whatever, the industry.
Yeah.
Listening to podcasts about it, people having the same complaints, which happens on this every episode. But like, it is a cool thing. you know, and there's structure behind everything, and we just know how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of do like that you brought that up because I feel like I get annoyed when I get asked like the same questions over and over again, and I'm like, oh, like I don't want to answer this for the 50. Who's my favorite comedian? I'm like, oh my God, kill me.
It is annoying.
But then it's like, oh, if you see it from their point of view, they're just like, whoa, that's so cool that you did that thing that I don't understand, and that's why I'm trying to ask to figure it out. Instead of being like, this idiot.
If you were sitting with an athlete.
Oh, I would ask the same questions that they get asked all the time, right? Yeah.
Exactly. If you were with Steph Curry, you'd be like, oh, what got you into basketball? Oh, your dad played? Yeah. Oh, cool.
What's your workout regimen?
Yeah, exactly. Like, Is it hard shooting over a guy who's 7 feet tall? Like, is Draymond really crazy? Yeah. You know, and I'm sure that in their back room, they're talking about like a particular defense and like how a team fits together. And I'm like, I don't fucking know. Yeah. You know,
they're like, but we really want to talk about this, that, and whatever. I'm like, I don't understand the charts.
But some of them do. But some of those questions do suck when people are like, how would you describe your comedy? I'm like, I'm just trying to do. I know. I'm trying to do.
That is one of my least favorite questions. How would you describe your comedy? I'm like, I don't know. You describe it for me. Like, I don't describe my comedy.
I'm trying to describe whatever I'm seeing and like feeling and thinking like that. I don't know how to package it, but you know, maybe it'll be better to have. Maybe I should. Dude, shtick would be kind of fun to just like Larry the Cable Guy it up. What would you do though? Yours would have to be a little racist, I think. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, like if I did it, it would just be like if I've got like a full shtick.
Oh, if you picked a shtick, you mean?
Right.
Okay,
like
not,
if you're
not like you actually describe it.
No. Like you're like, you know what? I tried doing art, and now I want to do business. and I was like, Joey Avery is not cutting it, so we're gonna be like, you know, fucking Joey pickup truck or something. I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't think this is gonna work. I don't think this is gonna work. But, like, if you were leading into a full stereotype, I don't know. I don't really know what's a good way to do that.
I think it would be hard because I think I have to pick Asian or gay.
Yeah.
Because I think if I pick both, it's already too nuanced.
I will say, if you pick gay, they're going to know you're Asian.
I will say, if I pick Asian, I'm pretty sure they'll also know I'm gay.
That's true, actually. That is true. Okay. So we really just need to turn both up to 12.
Yeah.
Like the gayest Asian, most Asian. See, this is tough.
Ooh.
So
I feel like stereotypical or like an Asian person that everyone would know would be like, that guy's Asian, like Jackie Chan, maybe? Mm-hmm. Like a martial arts kind of.
I would, throwing some kicks up there.
Yeah. Like a martial arty kind of. Like the opposite of Bert Kreischer taking his shirt off is like me just like fighting on stage or something.
No, I like that. This is good. But then it turns into a full dance. Although, but see, that's the thing is female gay is a little different.
That's what I'm saying.
You would have to go fight into, I don't know, what would you like? Drink tea and read a book?
That's what you think the lesbian stereotype is?
The lesbian stereotype is what? Like drive Subaru, fix a car.
Yeah, I was going to say kind of like a handy
like a
con
biker,
person.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a rough and tumble kind of. Yes. I can fix your car like a mechanic.
Yeah.
So I'd go from I beat up.
No, this is perfect.
Okay.
It's a closed loop.
Okay.
You're really Asian, so you're crashing cars. I'm just also a lesbian. It's one parking lot's a mechanic shop, and you just keep going around.
We solved it.
This is good. It's just a one-woman show, and it's just the car keeps going in and fixing it. No, that's good. I'm glad we settled on that.
There's no comedy in the show.
No.
There are no words.
It's a crude technical show. It's like it's called Homo Improvement, and it's.
There we go.
Debbie the Tool Woman. Did you ever watch that show?
No, I didn't watch Home Improvement. No.
It was Yeah, it was something.
Did you like it? I don't know what happened to the show. I know there was like a neighbor, and I know he was like Tim the Tool Man, but I don't know anything about the show.
I don't really know what shows I watched growing up that I actually liked, or if I was just watching them because it was on TV on like CW network when I got home from school and I
was,
didn't
like,
want to do
too
my
young.
homework.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm.
Do you not say that
I
publicly?
mean-
I mean, we don't need Wikipedia. Either way, you might have been too young.
It's 30 something.
Okay, cool.
I'll give you
But it's
30
the same.
something.
It's the same realm.
Yeah.
So it was on, but like it wasn't like I was watching it like with my family at 5 p.m. It was like reruns. Like I remember Friends, Seinfeld, of course. Like Everybody Loves Raymond, King of Queens, and Home Improvement. Whatever like the CW or whatever the fucking channel was would just run like marathons. For times, and I would just kind of watch it, and it was on, and I think I liked it. But like if someone tried to do a sitcom today, I don't think that format would resonate at all with me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I haven't seen the show, so I don't even know the format of this show.
It's
in
just
particular.
like all of them are so the same to me.
Like the one that I watched a lot was the George Lopez one.
I've seen some of that, but
which
not as
I
much.
think is actually great.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the best sitcoms.
Really?
Yeah.
Had you watched a lot of sitcoms?
I would watch a lot of that one. I've seen most of Ellen's old sitcom, which was great.
Well, you were a big Ellen.
A big Ellen fan.
Yeah.
But I do really like sitcoms.
Has Ellen been wrongly accused?
Look, I don't know what happened with Ellen with her being not nice or whatever, but I mean, I feel
That's
for
a
her.
fan right there.
I
being
feel
not
for
nice.
her because she did get canceled for coming out as gay.
She did?
You don't know this?
No.
Oh, okay. I can't tell if you're being sarcastic.
No, I am not as
you
steeped in Ellen's lore.
okay. I mean, that was a big thing.
Yeah.
Like, she had her sitcom, very popular, huge, and then she decided to come out on the sitcom and in real life, and then they were all like, no, because they didn't like gay people in the 90s.
Whoa.
So like the advertisers like pulled the ads and stuff, and then the show kind of ended. It was still good even after like the whole controversy. It was just because it was like she was gay,
right?
They didn't want to like. They were like, we can't. Because
It's
she's
crazy
gay.
how short our memories are with some of that stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Like she
that is
literally
not long
left
ago.
Hollywood. Like she was like gone for like 3 years, and then she like came back with her talk show, and it became like a hit, and she like resurrected her whole career after that. But she was like gone for. She was basically like they were like, we don't want you because you're gay. So then it's like, well, if your whole career got derailed because you came out as gay, I also wouldn't
should get a
trust
little
anybody.
leeway.
And I'd be like,
Yeah.
I might be like a mean person, but I don't know like how mean she was. So it
Right.
could have been like ramped up where I'm like, that's a little too far.
Yeah.
But
And
I probably wouldn't be super friendly if that's what
if
happened.
that had
Yeah.
happened to you and you're like, I finally fucking made it.
Yeah, I
Like, this
made
is
it
my-
back from like literally the depths of
Yeah.
hell.
See, that's the thing is like all these things like that totally makes sense and
Yeah.
like that is fair. Also, there's no excuse for being a tyrant when you're making a daytime
course,
talk
yeah.
show. Like calm the fuck down.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
let's be nice to each other and
Totally.
civil and this,
Yeah.
you know.
But I
That
again,
being
I don't know
said-
anything.
Yeah,
about-
I don't have any.
I don't know.
This is all speculative.
Yes.
It's crazy to me how cancellation. I mean, that was before the term canceled, but she literally got canceled. Like her show
That's
got
what I'm
canceled.
saying. When people are complaining about getting canceled now, I'm like, that's not the same thing. You
Right.
get canceled now, it helps your career.
And yeah, cancellation the other way is more intense. It's like
Yeah.
we don't want to see
No,
you
we literally
because of
don't
who
want
you.
you.
Are.
Yeah, we hate you because you're gay.
Yeah.
We don't want you in front of our children. Get off our TV.
Yeah.
Like, that's canceled.
Do you feel like there's more pressure being a gay comedian? Like, I feel like you have more sensitive moments with fans than I do or other people do.
Totally.
Like, you have a much higher chance of, and it's not like you're up there like, I'm going to say the blank word. You know, it's not like you're edgy in that way.
Yeah.
But you get way more shit from people for just like slightly crossing a line that at one of my shows, people would be like, jump on that line. Who cares? But I feel like you, and I've had this conversation with some other gay comedians as well. I feel like you're held to a standard that can be really tough, and you can kind of get eaten by your own sometimes for just doing slightly things that any comedian would do.
Yeah, I think both being like gay or Asian, it's like anytime you're like an underrepresented group, I think people want you to be like they want a version in their head that doesn't exist, right? They're like, we want the perfect example of our people so we can finally be like, we made it or whatever. And whatever you imagine, it's not going to happen. Like, I'm not going to be that person for you. So if you say something that they don't agree with, they're like, we don't want this.
Right.
That's what it is. And if it's like, if you're like a white guy or whatever, you can say whatever. They're like, we got plenty of representation. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Right.
It's like, I'm no one's hero.
Exactly.
But because I'm no one's hero, they're not holding me to the standards of being a hero.
Yes. And that's the only reason why I think like I get so much more shit is it's like, oh, you want me to be your perfect person.
Which is tough because it's like, on the one hand, that is flattering, and you are
Totally.
like, I do hope that my representation is having that effect on people. But then when you're just like, I'm just trying to be a stand-up, and now you're coming at me, and that's not helping our representation, that you're making it harder to be one of us in this 100%. Industry.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, they'll try. It's like you trying to cancel me doesn't help because that means there's like one less gay comic.
Right.
So it's
do
like,
people
what do you
actually,
want?
I know people have gotten mad. Do they actually like try to like straight up cancel you?
Yeah, I mean, do you remember that time when I was in the Bay that people got mad at me for I did it was like an early version of a pronoun joke that I had that people saw, a couple people saw and didn't like. So then they were like, they tried to like cancel my show at Starline.
Oh, they went to the show that you were producing.
They went to I opened for Kyle Mooney at Starline, and then they didn't like whatever a part of a joke that I told.
So they were there for you or for Kyle Mooney?
I think they were there for Kyle Mooney. I don't think they were there for me, but they saw
wild
me.
To go to Kyle Mooney and then be like, that actually gay comedian did a pronoun joke that pissed me off.
Yeah. So,
and it's about, I mean, maybe you're playing with it a little bit, but if I recall correctly, it's more about you kind of figuring out your own thoughts about yourself within it, not like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So basically, I think I still do this joke now. I like kind of change it or whatever, but I think the whole thing is just like, oh, there are other things to be worried about that are bigger issues in a way that we
and they were
forget
like,
about.
Fucking nope.
No.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
And then they
I
went
think
hard.
that's what, I can't remember now because it's been so long, but I think that's what it was. It wasn't like, oh, like, fuck your pronouns. Like,
yeah.
No, you're good.
That room, Starline, in Oakland.
Yeah.
I found people always ask about comedy in the Bay Area, and they're like, is it impossible? Like, can you even say things?
Yeah.
And I always felt like people have discussed the Bay Area, and they think it's this like crazy hellhole full of like shit and piss, which of course it is, but it's nicer than you'd think if you hadn't been there.
Right.
And people think it's so liberal you can't do anything. And I never found that to be true performing at clubs around the city. There were a couple times doing shows at Starline in Oakland where I was like, oh, that got a little tight.
Yeah. But I think also it was just like every venue has a particular clientele that they're going to attract. Yeah. And that venue in particular was more, I think,
a little bit more militantly.
Yeah.
I was going to say woke, but I feel like that phrase has gotten, but it kind of was.
Yeah. In the not like the, in the original sense of the word woke, I suppose. Yeah.
A lot of these words have really taken on a lot over the last
I know.
few
I
years.
feel like there's
changed.
extra weird meaning to it. Where like that's
because
not
it's
really
like
what I meant.
Now when you're saying it, you're like bringing in the baggage of like, okay, you know what I'm saying, but you also might think I'm saying something based on the other people who have said things about it, which is a ridiculous way to live. But at the end of the day, if you are trying to be relatively precise with your language on these topics, you do kind of have to do that.
Yeah.
Which I don't always do. I play fast and loose sometimes as well.
And you know what? And you're allowed to because no one's going to hold you accountable, Joey.
You're going to hold Joey pickup trucks to that sort of fucking bullshit, dude?
Yeah,
you can't.
I'm out here. I'm like, oh, if I say one word wrong, it's going to be another Instagram battle over here.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, Jay Pickups just doesn't look back. It's fucking all gas, no brakes, all the time. Retard!
I don't know what he said. I don't approve.
Well, it's so funny because I do think that like people, we're not big enough at this point, but like let's assume that we will, and I think that that's very possible and very likely, and like we could both get very big and our fan bases would potentially assume that we aren't friends.
That's the funniest.
And I'm not even like that. I'm not like a right-wing comment, but
No,
like
I
just
know.
in general,
I do think it's so funny because I assume that if we did a show together and all our fans like were in the same show, they would be very confused.
They would 100%.
Like if you opened for me, my fans would be like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Right.
And like vice versa. I think they'd be like, "What?"
Which is so strange. I mean, I like, don't get me wrong, I get it. I'm not an idiot, but like, it's odd when you're like, no, like we like each other's comedy and we're friends and we have a lot more in common than not.
100%.
Our Wikipedias would read differently.
Yeah.
Mine would be like, he did gay shit with his friends and he called it that.
Yeah.
Joey Pickup sucks some dick. He calls it what it is. All right.
I mean,
this character is fun. I like
don't want to
this
be
guy.
like that person, but I'm like, I think that's wrong with this country nowadays.
Yeah.
It's just like everyone like thinks what they think is correct, and that's it.
Right. And I think it's because it's so easy to just fall into a loop of like, if you're consuming content, you can spend your entire day thinking a certain way. And I know people know like algorithm, like rabbit holes, all that, like it's been covered, but we almost underestimate how crazy it is. If you listen to podcasts and watch YouTube and go on Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff is curated, you can spend the entire day not only thinking whatever you think, but getting dragged further and further and further down, just seeing everything. And then all you're thinking is like, this is what everyone's thinking.
Totally.
Which is why everyone thinks that the world has gone fucking mad.
Yeah.
And most people in general that you see, if you actually like talked to them in a scenario, would be like somewhat normal.
100%.
Like everyone would like probably code switch a little bit, like people who have probably tweeted horrible things at you, if they were like sitting here, would be like, I never thought about how it's a harder challenge that you have.
Yeah. Well, also when you're online, you're anonymous, so you can say whatever garbage that you
and
want
you're
to say.
Angry. You might have been drinking Jack Daniels
Totally.
and eating McDonald's for 3 days, and you're just like, something's boiling in your belly, and you're just like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I needed to get that out.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, a good friend of mine who like doesn't have a problem. I saw one of his comments somewhere.
No. What did he
and
say?
I don't even remember. It was just something like just really cheap, like just kind of rude. It wasn't like insane, but it was just like an absolute like snipe at someone. And I was like, whoa, do you do this? And he was like, sometimes if I'm in a mood.
What?
But yeah, the internet's not real. But at the same time, it is.
But also it is
That's
real.
the thing.
Yeah.
That's confusing. I think we need to unplug. But I also don't think that.
I mean, I will say one positive part of the internet is because like women's sports has been getting a lot more buzz. I started watching and it's very fun.
You watching Caitlin Clark?
Oh, I watched Caitlin Clark. I watched Juju Watkins. She's probably my favorite.
Is that a
Another basketball
player
yeah.
too?
It's all women's basketball right now that I'm watching. It's also March Madness,
Right.
about to happen. So I got to catch up. on the
So,
games.
yeah, I know, like, why do you think it popped this year? I know Caitlin Clark was a huge thing, and, like,
She was like popping like last year.
she started it kind of
And-
last year.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
she was, and there was another
really hit.
girl, and, like, I watched the
like
final,
Angel
like,
Reese.
Yes,
like
Angel
when they
Reese
were
and-
playing LSU. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like it was the classic, like the way you bill any fight. It was kind of like there was a little white and black,
Oh yeah, it was definitely like, this is a little racist.
Yeah.
But the eyeballs were on.
but then there was
The
also
screen.
like if anyone was like, I like Caitlin Clark, she can play. Then Angel Reese was like, you fucking hate me, bitch. And I was like, oh shit. And then,
I mean, I think the thing that did help is like those two are like such big trash talkers.
yeah, it was great.
That if they were like, if either one of those girls was like Tim Duncan,
Yeah,
it would not have been exciting.
yeah.
Because like I was like a huge Spurs fan as a kid, but Tim Duncan, he
They
doesn't.
were the most boring good team of all time.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like they were not a good team to like root for. I'm like, they're great at fundamentals.
Yeah. I do love that the internet has allowed stuff to just get popular. That,
Yeah.
Like, that is a great example of it. And
Yeah.
they're getting paid now, which is crazy.
Oh, I know.
They're probably making more than any female athlete. I mean, aside from, like, tennis has always done well. for some
Okay.
reason. Like Serena Williams, like made a lot of money. People always watch women's tennis.
Yeah.
That's kind of it. Like people don't watch like outside of the Olympics. People don't watch like women's softball or the WNBA or anything. Do you think this will carry on now from college?
I mean, it's exciting. You know, Caitlin declared for the draft, and I think they're already selling more tickets in Indiana and stuff. So I think
That's
people
sick.
are gonna watch the WNBA more. We'll see like how much it progresses.
Yeah,
you know?
college is helpful because once you tell people that it's cool, these colleges have built-in fan bases.
Also
Because
true.
all the like football fans for Iowa can be like, we got a bitch who can ball down there.
Also, I think it helps too because it's like there's so many alumni.
Yeah.
And then you're like rooting for a school you went to, or it's like, oh, like I live in that state, like Iowa's cool. Like nobody thought Iowa was ever cool.
Right.
So you're like, well, I mean, I'll go to the game. I live down the street, you know.
And it's harder when it's like the LA Sparks versus the Minneapolis Handbags.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was probably bad.
The Lynx?
Yeah. Do you really know?
Yeah, it's the Lynx.
Nice. Oh, okay. Wait, so you
I think
watch
it's
ball.
Minnesota.
So you're back to basketball, Irene.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
I couldn't like play. I wanted to play in college. Like
Yeah.
I had written that as like a thing that
Yeah.
like my freshman year of high school. I was like, I want to play in college.
Was that
But,
your like
didn't
when you
happen.
picked up like you know those little those things you could blow on, the wish things, the little plant with a bunch of things and you make a wish, you blow on it?
Like if I could play.
Was that your wish?
No, I think now it would be my wish if I could go back.
A
in
reverse
time.
wish.
Yeah, but at the time, I think I probably wouldn't have picked that as the wish.
I remember whenever I would pick it up, I would always wish that I would have played ice hockey at the University of Michigan.
Why that?
It was a combination of things. My grandpa went to U of M, so we were University of Michigan football fans, even though growing up in California. And the team that I would go growing up in San Jose and see was the Sharks. So I wanted to play for the Sharks, and I played hockey. And hockey was like my thing. Like I would print out pictures of just hockey players and just tape them all over my wall. And then I also had like Michigan flags and stuff. And so it was kind of my like combination. And so when I was like a 9-year-old and I saw one of those, I'd be like, I'm going to be a hockey player at Michigan. Didn't happen.
Do they have a good hockey team there?
They actually do.
Oh, okay.
They do have one of the best. I don't think I've ever watched a full Michigan hockey game,
Really?
but it was just like, you know, when you're just identifying with shit, and you're just like, those are my things. Yes.
Did you play like in like high school and
I
college?
played into early high school, and then eventually I had to quit because baseball was what I was actually good at, and so then baseball became like a year-round thing, and I was doing travel team stuff, and on the, you know, once you're in high school on the varsity team, and they're kind of the same season. So yeah, that was the plan, and then that initially got me into college, and then that didn't work out, and so then I was like, who am I?
Yeah. And you're like, I'm a comedian.
Well, I eventually figured that out, and then I was like, this is it. And then, and I was like, this one has to work.
Yeah.
Because after like 2 don't, you're like, this one's got to work.
The third one's got to work.
It has to. It has to.
What would you do if you weren't a comedian?
I'd probably make a shitload of money doing something boring. Yeah. Like
crypto or something.
Well, that would be tough right now. But yeah, I probably.
I saw it bounce back the other day.
Maybe a little bounce back. Yeah, I did tech sales and I was pretty good at that. So it was something in the sales realm like, like that or like real estate or some shit. I don't know.
Classic.
I'd have to just meet some guy who was plugged in and then was like, "What? You were a comedian? That's fucking crazy." And I'm like, "Dude, like, with the best of them," and then try and cut the line, you know, from the rest of the underlings working, because it's like, this guy's just got natural talent, dude. They used to call him Joey Pickups back in the day. And then next thing I know, I'm just making deals, you know, 1 million, 2 million, 3, and I'm rich and I'm having fun. But part of me is like, man, you really got close to that comedy thing.
Yeah, you're
and
like,
then you
dead
kind of
inside.
gave up.
Yeah.
You really can't let all 3 dreams die. So then I'm like, fuck it. I'm done working out, and so then I just start boozing, and I'm just drinking, and I'm getting fat as fuck, but I'm rich, you know, and I'm happy, and then I'm like, well, I wish I hadn't stopped working out, so then I do steroids, and then now really, and then I have to kill myself, so that's why comedy's got to work.
I was going to say, at some point you're going to kill yourself.
Yeah, 100%, yeah. And so that's why you guys need to like and subscribe.
Yeah, do it so Joey doesn't kill himself.
It's too morose. No, we live great lives. I'm happy, but you gotta, you know, I do think it's kind of annoying because every influencer talks about it, But when I do simple things, like when I'm like, I will in the morning focus on a little bit of like gratitude. What am I actually grateful for? And like get some morning sunlight, do that, take care of yourself. You realize everything's hard for everyone.
Yeah,
we're going to be okay.
I also do that.
Yeah. What are you grateful for today?
Oh man. Well, I didn't do a gratitude thing
Okay,
this morning.
good. Well, let's do one right now.
Oof, okay, what am I grateful for? Okay, you go first. I need time to think.
Okay,
I want to
well,
think of a good one.
I was gonna say I'm grateful for you coming on the podcast, Irene.
Oh yeah, I mean it was a last minute thing.
It was. Where I know. Thank you for doing this last minute.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to plug? Is there anywhere people?
Well, okay.
can
Well, I'll
find
say
you?
I will also say I'm grateful for our friendship, our unlikely friendship.
Yes.
Internet.
I mean, yeah. If Irene and I can't solve all the world's problems, there's really nothing that can do it.
It's true.
Yeah.
It really is true.
Plug some stuff.
Oh yeah.
and then
I'm on tour, so people can see me. I'm in probably a city near you. Just check my website, IreneTu.com. I have an album out. It's called We're Done Now. You can also buy that, stream that, buy it preferred. That's kind of it. Just come see me on
Great.
tour.
Check Irene out. It's great. If you go, don't cancel her for being fun.
Unless it helps my career.
Unless it helps, then yeah, do it. But thank you very much, Irene. This is great.
Thanks, Joey.
There it is. That's the interview, and that's the show, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. Please keep coming back. Please rate us. Like this thing on YouTube. Comment. Leave a rating on Apple and Spotify. Tell a friend. Tell your grandma. Tell your fucking side piece. I don't care. Let's get this thing out there. Thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate it. If you want to write in, if there's something that you want to see us cover, if you want some advice, we're happy to do that. But if there's a segment that you want to see, if you want to see us really dive into something, in the monologue like we did today, go ahead and write in joeyshowpodcast@gmail.com. We check it. And by we, I mean me, cause it's a one-man team, but, that's okay. That's what we can afford right now, folks. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you next week.